how to dominate your draft from the 6th pick. Jeffrey, let's get it started.
Yes, sir.
This is going to be a 12-team mock draft from the 6th pick, PPR, and I'm going to do no time limit so I can talk through these picks. Jeffrey, I'm going to need you to read off these picks. All right, without further ado, drafted from the 6th spot.
Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I would not expect Christian McCaffrey to come off the board that late, but let's see who we got. Jeffrey, who are the top receivers on the board?
Jamar Chase and A.J. Brown.
Jamar Chase's situation makes me a little nervous, and at the 6th pick, you don't really have to take that risk at the moment. And A.J. Brown, I think it's a little early for him. Jeffrey, give me the running backs.
Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall.
Out of those two, I personally like Bijan Robinson more, and we're going to grab him and see what comes back around. When you're drafting at the 6th spot, you're really in the middle. So it's going to be 12 picks going after you and 10 picks on the other side. So you can kind of gauge who's going to be there. But taking Bijan Robinson, I think, opens me up to take pretty much whatever I want at the 2nd pick.
Bijan Robinson.
Next up,
Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Garrett Wilson, Kyron Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Puka Nacua, Travis Etienne Jr., Jonathan Taylor, and Travis Kelce.
All right, coming back around, I have decent players at every position. At wide receiver, we have
Devante Adams, Drake London.
And at running back, we got
Derrick Henry, Devon Achane.
If you wanted to go quarterback,
Josh Allen.
I'm not drafting Drake London because I don't want 2 Falcons on my team. That's too much, too early. I like Derrick Henry here, but in a full PPR league, I don't want to pass up on Devante Adams. He's going to get a lot of targets. No, I do not like the quarterback play, but Gardner Minshew is serviceable enough to know to get it to his #1 guy. Devante Adams is going to get a lot of targets. Give me Adams in this one.
Devante Adams.
Next off the board, we have
Drake London, Chris Olave, Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, Sam Laporta, Josh Jacobs, Devon Achane, Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk, Nico Collins.
With these players off the board, best running backs to me, James Cook, Isaiah Pacheco. At wide receiver, Cooper Kupp's pretty far down there at 39. There's a world where he comes back to me. I would like to play that game because I don't think the same tier running back will make it back. So I'm going to go with James Cook, who I think has some upside with Stephon Diggs leaving and the familiarity he has with Josh Allen. Let's go with James Cook and see if Cooper Kupp can make it back. Please.
James Cook.
And then we have
Deebo Samuel, Isaiah Pacheco, Stephon Diggs, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, DJ Moore, Rashad White, Jalen Waddle, Trey McBride, Lamar Jackson, DK Metcalf, CJ Stroud.
Let's go! Cooper Kupp made it back. That's an easy pick in the 4th round. If Cooper Kupp makes it to the 4th round to you in any league, I'm taking him every time. Let's not even stick on that one. Keep it moving.
Cooper Kupp, Michael Pittman Jr., Mark Andrews, Malik Neighbors, Kenneth Walker III, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Dalton Kincaid, George Kittle, Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers.
At this point, I'm trying to check where I am. I have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Both of my wide receivers I think are going to get a heavy target load. Same thing with my running backs. Bijan Robinson and James Cook, both going to get decent target amounts. Looking at tight end, we have Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram. 2 of the 6 teams picking after me have tight ends, so both of those tight ends will probably go if I let them pass here. Moving over to quarterback, there's 4 that I really like here.
Anthony Richardson, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray.
I still like all 4 of those, and 4 teams past me have a quarterback, so the odds are that 2 will get back. So I'm not looking at quarterback anymore. It's either tight end or wide receiver. I like to have a wide receiver in my flex position, and almost an automatic pick for me in the 5th or 6th round. Rashee Rice being so undervalued. I do think that he could get back, but like I said before, I'd prefer to get a quarterback on the way back. And at that point, I'm probably punting tight end for a bit, because if you don't get a tight end by the 6th round, you're not going to have one of the top 6 to top 8, which is really the sweet spot. But there's a couple scragglers that drop a little lower. Jake Ferguson, not as excited about David Njoku just because of the quarterback, not because of the talent. So we're going to go with Rashee Rice here and see what quarterback makes it back.
Rashee Rice.
And then off the board is
T. Higgins, Kyle Pitts, Tank Dell, Aaron Jones, George Pickens, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Swift, James Conner, Christian Kirk, Evan Engram, Joe Burrow, David Montgomery.
All right, now I'm back on the board. If we look to the players that are going to be drafting after me, only one has a quarterback. So I want to grab a quarterback now because the odds that the quarterback that I want coming back are substantially decreased. And 4 of the 5 have a tight end. So if there is a tight end that I like here, I could take him. Or switch it up and go running back because I only got 2. Quarterbacks on the board, Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott, and Kyler Murray. At this point, looking at the left side of the draft board, only one team has a quarterback. If I want the quarterback that I want, I got to take him now. Let's look at who we got.
Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray.
Jeffrey, bring me full screen for this one. Let me be abundantly clear. If this was my draft and I was in a real draft where I actually am going to participate, I would take Kyler Murray here. I personally have him as a top 5 quarterback, but this is a mock draft and I don't want to take all the same players, so I won't be taking Kyler Murray here. I'm going to take my 6th quarterback off the board, Anthony Richardson. But just know, I want Kyler real bad. Let's get back to the draft. After I pick
Anthony Richardson, Jaden Reed, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Dak Prescott, Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, Jordan Love, Tony Pollard, David Njoku.
All right, let's check out this roster. Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Love my running backs, Bijan Robinson and James Cook. Devante Adams and Cooper Kupp with Rashee Rice at wide receiver. Locking that in. I love that. 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a quarterback. I still need a tight end. I need to decide whether or not I'm going to punt that position. Wide receivers available. I still like Chris Godwin, Calvin Ridley, Rob McConkey, Keon Coleman, DeAndre Hopkins, Jackson Smith and Jigba. At tight end, I really only like Jake Ferguson. If I don't take Jake Ferguson now, I'm probably going to have to punt the tight end position. At running back, we still got one of my guys, Raheem Mostert. And honestly, I think it falls off dramatically after that. So right now, I'm really deciding, do I want another running back for my flex, or a solid wide receiver, or a tight end that I think there's a solid teardrop after? That's a tough decision. It's really between running back and wide receiver. Wow, we're really zoomed in. Zoom out. At wide receiver, there's a lot of wide receivers still on the board that I like, so I'm not going that route. It's either tight end or running back, and I have Raheem Mostert much higher than the other running backs on the board. My man had 21 touchdowns last year. And during mock drafts, I'll pick different players to switch it up. But when there's a huge teardrop, nah, I'm going with my guy. Looks like I'm punting the tight end position. Wish me luck.
Raheem Mostert, Chris Godwin, Calvin Ridley, Xavier Worthy, Nick Chubb, Zamir White, Kyler Murray, Brock Bowers, Jordan Addison, Marquise Brown, Javonte Williams, Lad McConkey, Jalen Warren.
No way! Jake Ferguson made it back to me. Let's go! Easy pick. I'll get some more receivers later.
Jake Ferguson, Ezekiel Elliott, Brock Purdy, Zach Moss, Austin Ekeler, Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Christian Watson, Dallas Goedert, Caleb Williams.
All right, this roster is starting to fill out. I have every position filled for my starters. Now it's just time to work on the bench. 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a quarterback. Now, I do not always fill all of my starters before I fill my bench. It just happened to work out this way. So at this point, I'm super balanced, and I'm just shooting for upside. I want players that I think can outperform where they're being drafted. I do not need any more starters. I need people that can get good enough to earn that starting spot. Let's see what we got. At this point, I'm not even looking at quarterbacks or tight ends. I'm focusing on wide receivers with upside. At running back, Gus Edwards is solid. Brian Robinson is good. Devin Singletary will be a starter. I'm not looking at Jonathan Brooks. If you have an IR spot, I think it's fine. I just don't like players coming off of ACLs, especially running backs. I do not like running backs the first year off of an ACL tear. I know he's young. I could be proven wrong, but fantasy football is about talent and opportunity. I do think that he has the talent, and I do think he'll get the opportunity. But will his body be ready to handle that opportunity? I don't know. So I'm not going running back here. I think it's a pretty easy pick to go wide receiver. I like to have more wide receivers than running backs in PPR. I've been taking a lot of Brian Thomas Jr., love him. I also think Keon Coleman can be the #1 wide receiver for a top quarterback. So let's switch it up. Let's go with Keon Coleman in this one.
Keon Coleman, Jared Goff, Brian Robinson, Jonathan Brooks, Devin Singletary, Dalton Schultz, Tua Tagovailoa, TJ Hawkinson, Trey Benson, Brian Thomas Jr., Jameson Williams, Tyjae Spears, Gus Edwards.
The receivers here are solid. Cortland Sutton, Curtis Samuel, Romeo Doubs, Tyler Lockett, Khalil Shakir. If you want to wait on the Keon Coleman pick, you could always pick up Curtis Samuel or Khalil Shakir. I think all three of them have a shot to be the number one. Cortland Sutton will be the number one for the Denver Broncos. I feel like he's getting pretty slept on. At running back, I really like Jerome Ford. I think Chase Brown has a chance to take over and be the number one running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. Blake Corum's a solid backup. Chuba Hubbard, I think, is going to have a great start to the year. But I also think that those running backs, specifically Jerome Ford and Chuba Hubbard, I think there's a specific time frame where those guys will be most useful. And if you're drafting to trade, I think that's fine. I don't like to draft to trade because you never know what trades are going to work out and whatnot. But those two will have more value at the beginning of the year than at the end of the year. If I did more of a 0 RB draft, then I would definitely be targeting Jerome Ford. I would target Chuba Hubbard. But because my running back position is already locked up, I don't need a running back that's going to be valuable for 4 weeks. What I need is somebody that can pop and be the guy. And Chase Brown would fit that mold. We do not know who the starting running back is. I lean towards Zach Moss, but I also know that Chase Brown was on the team last year and the team could look to him to be a guy. So I think I'll go Chase Brown and then see what receivers are left and grab the best one.
Chase Brown, Blake Corum, Jaden Daniels, Curtis Samuel, Cortland Sutton, Jerome Ford, Romeo Doubs, Justin Herbert, Cole Kmet, Jerry Jeudy, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence is a solid sleeper. I think he should be pretty good. Let's go with a wide receiver with upside that I haven't really talked about much. Xavier Legette. He was a first-round draft pick. Everybody's down on Carolina Panthers, so nobody really wants to draft him. But he's a big boy. 6'3", 227 pounds. I think he'll be a solid target in the end zone. Not that the Panthers are going to get there very often. But when they do, they're probably going to be looking for this guy. So I'll take him. I think he'll be solid upside. All right, let's check out this roster. At quarterback, Anthony Richardson. At running back, Bijan Robinson, James Cook, Raheem Mostert, and Chase Brown. Wide receivers, we have Devante Adams, Cooper Kupp, Rashee Rice, Keon Coleman, and Xavier Legette. And at tight end, I have Jake Ferguson. I really like that squad. Balance, my running backs catch the ball. Got a couple ones late with some upside. My wide receivers are going to be soaking up targets. Anthony Richardson has a lot of upside. And Jake Ferguson is an underrated tight end on the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to be the number 2 target. So I like my squad, but you tell me what you think. Who did I get right? Who did I get wrong? Who should I have drafted? And who should never make it to a roster? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to look at more mock drafts, check out over here. If you need help with what is fantasy football, how to draft, what's a mock draft, all that good stuff is going to be right here in this playlist. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. Good luck in your drafts. Hit me up if you need me. Peace.